What's going on? This is episode 1.5, I guess. I had a whole plan for episode 2, but it didn't work out. I thought the way that the interview was going was just a little different, and I had two people stacked next to each other, and I wasn't able to get to all of them. Anyways, that's all background information that you don't really need to know about, but you know now. Anyways, this is about queerness and acceptance and really finding yourself within that journey of coming out or whatever you want to call it. And it's a little mini episode. I'm excited for you to get a little glimpse into their story and really hear about what it felt like for them to understand their identity as a queer person. Cool. Before we jump into things, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
You got it. You got it. So I'm Mel Burnett. My pronouns are she, her. Well, I saw your little fun illustrated title. I thought it sounded cool. Like I appreciate most things that you do.
Oh,
And yeah, I think as a queer person, it seemed like kind of a cool opportunity even for me to consider what questions would come up, like for my personal life, to even discuss those and dialogue about those.
mm,
Seemed like a neat opportunity. I mean, I grew up hella Southern Baptist.
okay.
Yeah, hella conservative. I grew up in a rural area on the East Coast in Virginia, and grew up with the statements made that um, you know being in a relationship with someone of the same sex was an abomination and sinful. And I also didn't have any uh, examples or role models of what it would look like to be in a gay relationship or with someone of the same sex. Like, I think when I went to college, people were more open to considerations of same-sex relationships, but I was still in a conservative Christian environment and context, and so it was more like you can be accepting of those attractions and feelings, but we believe that celibacy would be the best way to accept that or express that. Yeah, I think definitely in the beginning of my life and in interacting with those, they felt like polar opposites, to the point that accepting one would mean denying the other, having to lose that aspect of myself and my community. I think it was a long journey, I think, because of that, kind of coming to a place of accepting and feeling affirmed to be in relationship with women and pursue that. I think when there isn't representation outside of the norm or the majority, it can feel really scary to try to step out of that. If I wanted to be in a relationship with a woman and be in certain Christian contexts and there wasn't representation of that, it could kind of feel like, oh, well, maybe that's not even possible. And I think I felt like that for a long time. I think it's meant having to sort of reimagine or feel like there are possibilities even beyond what I've seen represented. For me, being queer, it's been having to come to an awareness of, oh, I'm attracted to something other than what society might typically say. But in the context that I grew up in, coming to that awareness maybe would feel good for me to be understanding of myself. The space that I was in, it was not a good thing. Like, that was a negative, um, to be queer and to be attracted to people of the same sex and gender. Um, I think that a lot of life feels very gray. So I think that concept to me gives the idea that things are not one way or the other. Like, things can't be clearly defined as maybe good and bad, right and wrong, um, or even positive, negative, you know? Okay, like for me or for you or for whoever's in that place of learning about their sexuality, coming to awareness and acceptance and all those things, like it can feel like, oh, I'm the only person maybe in this space or this context who is experiencing this grayness, within myself.
Think we're asked to like live in these very like black and white situations so often. I think if there was more people that recognize that there's a lot, that life is so gray, and a lot of people actually are living the gray and are moving to and from, and are here and not there at the same time, and all of that stuff, I think there would be so much more love abounding. And
Yeah, I think for me, it has felt, I think it's felt really healing to even explore relationships. Yeah, I think being able to explore my sexuality, being able to explore myself as a sexual person, as a romantic person wasn't something that I could explore or experience for a long time. So, um, I think that has felt really cool.
you said something that was so beautiful. Um, the exploration and the being able to find my sexuality and to get to know myself in a different way that I've never gotten to know myself, because I was right, choosing something and committed something because of the expression of faith that I had,
Mhm,
opened up, I think, a person in me that was always there but never been able to let out. And I think that person was the person that I was always missing.
mhm,
Letting go of those, but also finding like this deeper sense of self and this deeper sense of gratitude for my life and for life in general. My journey has, I think, opened me up to think really deeply about myself, society, about the world, and like I guess the person that I am isn't right, if we're isn't normal. I have to question my existence, and I think the elevation of the queer story is there's so much work and pre-work that we
mhm,
do, and to,
mhm,
to live and to thrive,
mhm.
and to get to a place where we can say yes to
I
ourselves.
think even, like, what it has meant to process my sexuality and to come to a place of acceptance and affirmation has felt really freeing in other aspects of life. I think I look back and can kind of see the ways that, I could be living a joyous life to some extent, but having a part of me blocked, or, just like saying no when I really truly want to say yes.
Mm,
I think is not the fullness of life that is like meant for anyone. And being able to say yes to exploring relationship, like, allowed the rest of my life to continue flowing.
mm,
It's so important to continue to like understand and learn about ourselves, and that in continuing to process different questions about ourselves that kind of come along throughout life, and being able to do that in a really honest,
mm.
open way. And granted, it takes time to do that, and it's a lifelong process. But really, yeah, I mean, salt and pepper. I don't know.
Salt and pepper.
Season your food with both. Yeah.
Yep. Season your food, season your life.
Yeah.
Treasure. Um,
That is what you are. So happy for us.
I know. I'm like